Hello everyone, welcome to class today. We are going to be talking about the 4 movements of the spine, and we'll be practicing them in different ways. So either have a seat in a chair or join me on the mat. So however you're comfortable, just find a nice relaxing position. Doesn't have to look like mine. And maybe close your eyes if you choose. This will be about a 20-minute practice. Maybe take some sighing breaths. And as you take these first few breaths here in this space, maybe you feel your shoulders soften or the muscles around the eyes and the jaw. Maybe you kind of just let the body maybe move around, kind of shake things out a little bit. You can shake your hands or shimmy your shoulders. And we'll start with a gentle breathing practice. Just bringing that awareness into the body, feeling where the breath moves, noticing what areas are feeling awake this morning or this afternoon or this evening, whenever you're watching this. Noticing what areas might feel tired, maybe ready for some rest and relaxation. We'll take about 5 more breaths, just whatever length, depth you choose. You can take a full breath in, maybe feel the chest and belly expand. Or maybe it just feels nice to feel the natural pace of your breath, just moving in and out through the nose or in through the nose and out through the mouth. This is all just about taking that pause, finding that moment here for yourself. Great. Wonderful. If the eyes are closed, slowly begin to blink them open. So as I mentioned, today we'll be going over the 4 different movements of the spine, and it's so great to keep the spine very healthy and mobile. By doing that, we also help expand or keep that nice lung capacity, taking full breaths, feeling that nice full expansion, bringing in all of that wonderful healing oxygen, and also allowing us to exhale out all of our breaths. So we have that lovely pace of in and out, receiving, releasing, and just finding some more balance in our body, mind, and spirit. So as we move through the movements of the spine, as always, I want you to listen to your own body and move in the ways that feel good for you. So they might not make the same shape that I make, and that's totally okay. I want you to connect to yourself, connect to your body, do what's right for you, and just be a really good listener to your own self. So we'll start seated. Again, maybe you're seated in a chair, maybe you're seated on a mat. Sometimes I like to grab a blanket and have a seat, especially if I'm working on posture. So let me grab that real quick. Okay, so I'm going to sit on a little folded blanket. If you don't have a folded blanket, you can always use a towel, a pillow, anything that kind of raises those hips up a little bit. And sometimes that can feel better for the spine and also give us a little bit more movement. So a quick little anatomy lesson. The 4 movements of the spine are flexion, extension, rotation, and lateral bending. So it's bending forward, bending backwards, twisting, and side bends. So we'll move through those in a few different ways. And again, as we feel those different movements in the body, I just want you to explore and maybe notice if one side feels different than the other, if one feels more supportive or more beneficial to you. And it's all about listening. It's all about being aware and conscious of your movement and how things feel. There's no wrong or right way to do it. Just begin to listen to the body. So let's start in this tall seated position. Again, you don't have to look like me, legs don't have to be crossed, just kind of finding the shape that allows you to be as tall as possible. And you can even give yourself a little bit of feedback. So you could bring the hand gently to the top of the head and feel as if the head could reach up towards the hand, kind of press towards the hand. And you might feel a lift in the rib cage or a lift in the spine, maybe feel a little bit taller. And that's just a great way to give your body some feedback. Sometimes we might feel like we're being really tall and sitting in that nice tall posture, but just by bringing that hand to the top of the head and lifting the head up as high as we can, pressing into the hand, we can give ourselves a little bit of feedback. So it's great if you want to keep the hand there for a moment, just kind of notice how the body feels here, especially as we rise up and get a little bit taller. These stabilizer muscles in our core, so not even just our abdominals, but our back muscles, you might start to feel them work a little bit more. Maybe you feel those belly muscles lift up. Maybe you even feel those obliques, those side abdominals work a little bit more. So just kind of noticing how your body responds to sitting up tall. And now we're going to try to keep that height and release the hands. So maybe the hands come down to the legs. If you're seated on a mat, maybe you bring the fingertips to the floor. That can also be a nice little way of giving yourself feedback. Just pressing those fingertips in, down as the head lifts up towards the ceiling or the sky. And we'll just take a few breaths here. Again, you can close your eyes if you choose. You won't really need to see me for this next few moments. And as you try to find that tall posture, notice the breath moving. So maybe the breath feels a little bit more restricted. Maybe it feels a little bit more open and available to you as you sit tall. And then if you want to add some movement with the breath, on the inhale, imagine like you could grow a little taller. And on the exhale, you could soften slightly. So maybe not round down, but just kind of feel those muscles relax again. And on the inhale, lift up, get nice and tall. And on the exhale, maybe soften gently. Good. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, lengthen and lift. And exhale, soften. Finding that balance. 2 more breaths. Inhale to lift and find as much height as you can. Exhale to soften. Good. 1 more time. Inhale to lift. Get tall and exhale to soften. Great. If the eyes are closed, slowly blink them open. And let's roll the shoulders up and back. Get a little bit of movement for those muscles in the upper back. And even in that mid-low back space. So as we work on posture and feeling taller and creating that length in the spine, those muscles definitely have to work harder. And with that, we need to give them some movement. Stretch things out a little bit, allow them to release and let go so we can, again, move towards that balance. Let's add in some more of the movement of the spine. So now we've got that idea of length and extension. Nice, tall spine, okay? And when we move into these other movements of the spine or ways the spine moves, think about being tall. We want to always think about being tall. That's what the great thing about yoga is. We're trying to kind of fight against gravity, right? That kind of pulling downward. So we're working on being tall and creating that length and space in the spine. So we'll start with some flexion and extension. And I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see my movements a little bit better here. And if you've practiced with me before, we've done this flexion and extension movement a lot. And we're going to try it out in our cat-cow movements. So as we go into flexion and extension, that's just bending forward and backward. So we'll start with some extension. Extension, you lift up, and it's a tiny little back bend. Maybe you just feel the chest rise. If it's okay with the neck, we keep the neck long, and maybe take a little look up. And then if you'd like, exhale, start to tilt that pelvis back and bend a little forward. So you can see that bend in the spine, kind of stretching through those back muscles. So this is flexion. Inhale again, we're going to lift up through the chest into that extension, kind of getting that forward and backward movement. Exhale, round and fold, bend forward. Great. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale to lift up. Open up through that chest. Great way to open up through the front of the body. Exhale to round. Yes, good. One more time. Lift it up and round it forward. Fantastic. And we'll add those movements in a little bit more as we continue on. Next one we're going to talk about is rotation or twisting. So I'm going to turn back here so you can see. And twisting is really great for the spine. It's important to listen to your body though as we twist. So especially if you're kind of getting started and haven't moved a lot before you start your practice, it's great to go slow. So we're going to slowly build on this rotation or twisting of the spine. Inhale again, get really tall. Remember that length, that height in the spine. And we're going to keep the left hand where it is. Right hand's going to come to the side, or maybe you hold onto the side of your chair. Lift up and just gently turn a little bit towards the right. So almost even like a quarter of a turn. Lift up really tall. Feel that gentle twist. We'll take one more breath here. Good. Come back to center. Let's try the other side. So now right hand rests on the leg. Left hand goes to the side or holds onto the side of the chair. Lift up tall first. And exhale, just a gentle little turn. And as we're turning, we're thinking about turning with the belly first, and then the chest, and then maybe the head. So we're definitely not straining the neck to get around as far as we can. Good. And bring it back to center. Now you can stay with that amount of rotation if that felt really nice for you. If you want to maybe twist a little bit farther, again, always listen to the body and let's give it a try. So this time we're going to keep that left hand here. We're going to bring the right hand over. And if you want to take it a little bit farther back, you can. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, maybe come to that first stopping point. And if you want a little bit farther, we're not going to that edge. We're maybe going about halfway, about 50%. One more breath. Remember that length in the spine. Exhale, unwind it. Good. Let's try the other side. Right hand stays where it is. Left hand either straight out to the side or maybe it reaches back a little bit. Lift up tall. Exhale, find your twist. Again, we're going about 50%, halfway of what maybe you feel your full twist would be. And this might be a great stopping point for you too. If you feel like this is a wonderful stretch for you and it feels great and beneficial, stay right here. Good. Come back to center. Now, if you'd like to go farther, we're going to take it 75% or maybe find that stopping point if you already have. Inhale, lift up nice and tall. We're going to keep that right hand, to the side. Left hand, maybe it crosses over this time. Lift up tall. Exhale to twist. So again, if you feel like you can go farther, kind of hold yourself back a little bit. Just go maybe 75% of the way. If you found your edge, stay there. Good. Unwind it. Let's go to the other side. Left hand comes out to the side. Right hand can cross over this time. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, twist. One more breath, only going 3/4 of the way. And then unwind. Great. Now we'll take it into that full rotation. So really find your edge. Doesn't mean to push. Just find that place that feels really good, really beneficial for you today. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, find that placement of your right arm. So maybe that's out to the side. Maybe it's back a little bit. Maybe it's even behind. Left hand can cross over if you choose. Lift up tall. Exhale, find your twist. And breathe. Most important that you can keep that breath going at the same pace, same capacity. Exhale, unwind it. And we'll try the other side. So that left hand finds its spot. Right hand, find its spot. Lift up tall. Exhale, twist. 3 breaths here. Very nice. Unwind. Come back to center. Let's roll those shoulders up and back. Great. Now we'll do some lateral bending or some side bending. So that's just a great way to stretch the sides of the waist. Get into the rib cage and the sides of the waist here. That might even feel like a really great stretch down to that low back area. And again, we'll start slow. So we'll take about 50% and then we'll add on if you choose. Inhale, hands can rise and maybe just take them out nice and wide. Yeah, like a big wide V. Take the right hand down, left arm can reach up and over if that feels okay for the shoulder. And this time just lift up. So we're just reaching upward. Again, if that doesn't work for the shoulder, that's fine. You can rest the hand down, but feel like that shoulder is lifting up. So we should feel a little bit more length maybe on that left side, maybe through that left side of the ribs. Lift up, lift up. So finding that height first. Good, then let's come back to center, spread those arms out wide, nice wide V. Now we'll take the left hand down, reach that right arm up, 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 up. So we're not even going over yet, we're just reaching up. So maybe you can feel that right sits bone press down towards the chair or the floor as those right fingertips lift up towards the ceiling. You can even kind of gently press into that left hand, whether it's on the mat or holding onto the chair, and feel that opposite press, reaching up, opening up through that side waist. Good, release it down and roll the shoulders up and back. So you can stay with that same shape if that felt really nice for you, or we'll add a little bit more bend if you'd like. Inhale, reach those arms out, spread it out wide. So even here you might feel a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a stretch. Let's take that right hand down, left arm can reach up and maybe it stays there, maybe it feels really good. Or if you choose, you can add that little extra bend. Breathing into that left side, feeling that left side of the rib cage expand. Good. Release it back down. Spread those arms out wide. Left hand down, right arm reaches up. Reach up, reach up. And then maybe, if you choose, bring it over. We're still pressing down through that right sits bone. So creating all that space all along the right side. One more full breath. And release, bring it back to center. Good, roll the shoulders up and back. Good. Now we'll kind of combine a few of those movements together. And this is a good way to get movement through the whole spine. So we're going to kind of create some little circles, almost like if you've ever hula hooped before and you kind of got to move the hips around in a circle. So you can stay seated. You can also come to standing if that feels a little bit more natural for you. And we're just really moving the rib cage. So almost like I'm making a big circle with the rib cage here. Forward, side, back, side. So as big or a small circle as you'd like, feeling that movement. And you might feel those core muscles turning on as you make those spaces and bring that rib cage around. Now let's try the other direction. And you could keep your hands on the rib cage if that gives you good feedback. You can always bring the hands back to the legs. And just bring that chest around, that rib cage around. Finding that space all around the spine, all around that torso. Let's take it around 2 more times. Good. Wonderful. And then bring it back to center. So there we used flexion, extension, and lateral bending to kind of get that movement all the way around. Great, let's do one more twist. Another way to do a great twist is to come down on the mat. So if you're seated in a chair, feel free to stay there. And we'll do that same twist that we did starting out with. If you'd like to try this floor version, you're going to come down onto your back. Take as much time as you need. And maybe those arms rest out to the sides, kind of wherever it feels good for you. Feet are going to go wide, so maybe even wider than the hips. And we'll start with a gentle twist. So those knees just kind of rock from one side to the other. So this is a nice, gentle way to get into that twisting motion. It's also a great opening here for hips and legs. Good. We'll take about one more each side. And then take the knees and drop them over to one side, doesn't matter which one. If for any reason that doesn't feel right for the spine, you can always keep those knees upward, or maybe rocking them side to side if that feels nice. Let's take the knees back to center and we'll try the other side. Just taking a few breaths of pause. Good, one more breath. Nice. Bring it all back to center. And if you're lying down, feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. Same as seated in your chair. Find that comfortable space. Maybe close the eyes. Revisit that gentle sighing breath or that ha breath. Just letting that breath release out through the mouth. Knowing that this time that you took out for yourself today was very beneficial, helping you learn about the different movements of the spine, how to keep your spine mobile, and to just continue to bring that balance, vitality, renewal into the body, into the mind, and the spirit. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.